Module 4, the Major Arcana, the Fool's Journey. In the previous lessons, we talked about the overall structure of the tarot deck. Every deck has 78 cards, and those 78 cards are divided into two main sections. The Major Arcana, which includes 22 cards, and the Minor Arcana, which is made up of 56 cards in 4 suits. In the previous module, we took a deep dive into the Minor Arcana. Next, we'll take a look at the Major Arcana. Every card in the tarot deck is important, but these first 22 cards, the Major Arcana, are especially so. When a Major Arcana card pops up in a reading, pay extra attention. Though each one of these cards tells a story all its own, they are also interconnected in an epic saga known as the Fool's Journey. The Fool's Journey is an allegory illustrating the journey through life, with each card representing a milestone in that journey, and every milestone must be experienced in order to attain completeness. The tale is told from the point of view of our hero, the Fool. Let's follow him on his journey. Pause the video now, separate out your Major Arcana cards, and arrange them in order from 0 to 21, or you can just follow along on the screen. You can also take a moment to print out your Major Arcana keyword sheet if you'd like. Meet the hero of our story, the Fool. We can tell by the bundle on his stick that he's heading out on a journey, but note the size of the bundle. It's very small. He's striking out without a lot of baggage. As he starts out this journey, he has to leave the material things behind. This is a true vision quest. The size of his bundle also indicates that this is spontaneous, that he's just taking a leap of faith. He's also carrying a white rose, a symbol of innocence. Notice how gingerly he's holding the rose, carefully between his thumb and forefinger. Preserving his innocence is clearly important to him. Now, notice his body language. His chin is up, his face is turned toward the sky. He's open, carefree, and innocent, to the point that he might actually be a little clueless. In fact, his little dog is barking madly, warning him to watch where he's going, to look before he leaps. Perhaps the most striking aspect of the Fool card is his interaction with his surroundings. The guy is about to step off a cliff. He's about to take a leap of faith, but based on his body language, he either doesn't care or he doesn't realize. And for the purpose of the Fool's Journey story, taking that leap is absolutely necessary to moving forward. Some keywords associated with the Fool card are new beginnings, spontaneity, free spirit, and innocence. As noted earlier, each card in the Major Arcana represents a stage in the journey of life, and the characters found in these cards are archetypes, meaning they embody a set of traits, so kind of a universal idea of a personality type. The Fool, for example, would represent the personification of innocence and naivete. Keeping that in mind, let's see who the Fool meets first on his journey. As the Fool starts out on his journey, the first character he comes upon is the Magician. The Magician has a message for him. Let's unpack this card. First, take a look at the Magician's body language. His right hand is pointing upward, and his left hand is pointing downward. This symbolizes the principle, as above, so below. Now, this doesn't mean heaven and hell. It's actually about manifestation, using your thoughts and intention to bring things into being. In other words, the Magician is telling the Fool, whatever you can think about, you can bring about. Take a look at the Magician's table. On it are the symbols of the 4 suits of the Minor Arcana: the wands, the cups, the swords, and the coins. So the Magician is telling the Fool that he has all the tools he needs to do whatever he chooses to do in life. If this powerful card comes up in a reading, it likely has to do with manifesting dreams and desires. The keywords associated with this card are power, skill, manifestation, and concentration. As with all cards in the major arcana, the magician is overflowing with symbolism, and you'll continue to see symbols and uncover insights as you grow in your practice. After leaving the magician, the fool next comes upon the high priestess. Whereas the magician was all about using focus and conscious intention to manifest what one desires, the high priestess is all about using inner power and unlocking the mysteries of the subconscious mind. The keywords associated with the high priestess are intuition, mystery, higher powers, and subconscious. Let's look at a couple of the symbols in this card that communicate those meanings. Note the serene expression on the priestess's face, the way her hands are resting easily in her lap, and how her robes cascade around her body and puddle on the floor, almost like flowing water. And remember, when we were learning about the suit of cups in the minor arcana, water represents intuition and psychic ability. At her feet is a crescent moon, and her crown is in the shape of the three-moon goddess, the mother, the maiden, and crone, represented by the waxing moon, a full moon, and a waning moon. This too speaks to intuition, as well as mystery and magic. The intuitive nature of the high priestess balances out the power and manifestation of the magician. Her message to the fool is to remember to turn inward, trust his instincts, to tap into his deeper shadow self as he works toward realizing his full potential. Next on his journey, the fool meets with the Empress. The Empress is a nurturing mother figure in the fool's life. She is the feminine side. Note that the bench she sits on is carved in the shape of a heart, with the symbol of Venus, which represents female, on the side. Her loose flowing robes and the fact that she's reclining on soft pillows hints that the Empress is pregnant. In the foreground is ripe wheat, a symbol of fruitfulness and abundance. The keywords associated with the Empress are nurturing, abundance, nature, fertility of ideas. Her message to the fool is to be aware of the world around him, be gentle with himself, and nurture his ideas. The fool will take this message with him as he continues on to meet the Emperor. The Emperor is the partner of and balance to the Empress. The Emperor is a fool's father figure. He's strong and authoritative. He favors structure and discipline. Note that whereas the Empress reclined on soft pillows, the Emperor sits tall on a throne made of stone. Notice that armor covers his legs. We can imagine that the Emperor was a knight in his younger years and still retains his sense of duty and protection. The keywords associated with the Emperor are power, authority, structure, and law and order. His message to the fool is to follow the rules, maintain control over his whims and desires, and maintain discipline within himself to attain his goals. Take some time to study the remaining 17 cards of the major arcana. The study of the tarot is ongoing and lifelong, so don't feel like you have to have everything figured out before you start reading. You absolutely don't. In fact, you probably know enough right now from what you've learned in this course to read any card using the 3-question method. Remember the 3 questions. What's the vibe? What's going on? And what's the lesson? So, whenever you're ready, let's move on to the final 2 modules, Reading the Tarot, Parts 1 and 2.